Good morning. It's time for your morning break with Sherry Woodard. A live half hour of the latest news and interviews to help keep you better informed.
And a good Friday morning to you. It is January the 2nd, the first Friday of the new year and the second day. And I hope you rang in the new year on a happy note. Speaking of notes, back here in the mid-'60s, NBC brought together 4 insane boys who could make good music together for a new television show. And one of those crazy kids was George Michael Dolenz, a.k.a. Micky Dolenz. He's the one who was bothering me just a minute ago. We'll talk with him this morning about what he's doing these days. Also this morning, a group of Michigan residents have been trying for almost 10 years now to get a law passed that would allow them to visit their grandchildren. Irene Johnson is one of the people leading that fight. We'll hear from her why some parents don't want contact between their children and the grandparents of those youngsters. We'll talk with those two people in just a few minutes, but first, here are the morning headlines. Teamster with Micky Dolenz. Hey, hey, it's the Monkees. So stay right where you are. We'll be back in a moment.
Then I saw her face. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love with my dreams. Then I saw her face.
Oh, I got carried away there. The music you just heard was by the Monkees. And with me this morning is a member of the original group, Micky Dolenz. Good morning to you again.
Morning. I think it's wonderful how you memorize all that news and weather stuff.
Oh, I do,
You never even look down and read it. It's amazing.
That's right.
Hours and hours of material.
Well, you know how that goes. You know, you're in the business. You have to be on the money and ready. Yeah. So what have you been doing lately?
Well, I was born very young, and I grew up in a small town. I've been, I just got off tour, as you may know, with the Monkees.
Right.
It was 7 months, and I'm still recovering from that.
What did it feel like being with, well, all but one of the old gang again and doing that again?
It was great fun, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, it was great fun. Helps when it's very successful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I could be out there, you know, in front of a handful of drunks, you know, in some bar trying to...
You need a full
trying
house.
to work them up. It helps to have a full house, and it also helps to have them so enthusiastic and so appreciative. It's like throwing a birthday party every night. You can't do anything wrong. Because I haven't really done that for a long, long time. I've been,
Did you feel old? I mean, did you start feeling your age when you were out there every night on stage again?
No, not so much that. It's just that I've been on the other side of the cameras for 15, 20 years now, producing and directing. So getting out there on stage suddenly, I got very self-conscious, like, why are they looking at me? What's the matter? What have I done? So it took a while to get back into that artistic kind of mode.
Ah, I see. But, you know, you're older now when you went around the second time. So I take it you were wiser, too, right?
Yes, it's true. Yeah, I appreciated it much more this time, actually. When you're young, you know, I was 20 when the original show came out, and, of course, you don't tend to notice as much, and it was very, very hectic back then, you know, it was crazy. And it was pretty crazy this time, but I had my family with me, and I think also, again, having been on the other side of the cameras, it gives you a different perspective. I think this time around I appreciated...
You can appreciate, exactly.
...how phenomenal it really was, and how incredibly difficult it is to create this kind of excitement. So I appreciated that a lot more, because that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years, is trying to generate excitement for other shows that I've been producing and directing.
What about being with the old gang? Now, everybody returned. I'll just hold this up. Maybe we can get a shot of it. Everybody came back except for
that was
Mike.
Paul Ringo was there. Mike
did not come back. What happened to him?
Well, Mike is also on the other side of the cameras as an executive producer, and he had a couple of features that he was in production on, and he just couldn't. And also, he doesn't really do that anymore, perform at all, really. And neither do I. I just happen to have a window in my career. Oh. But if the tour would have come a couple of months earlier, I couldn't have done it either.
Well, how did it feel being with the guys again? Did you guys get along the first time around?
Oh, sure.
Yeah? Good friends, sincerely?
Well, yes, but we weren't a group that you know, grew up together. We were a television show about a group, so we were cast together as the Monkees, like Star Trek is cast together. And so, you know, after we finished filming, you know, like Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner don't walk around going, "Beam me up, Leonard." "Okay, Captain." You know, So we didn't necessarily hang around a lot. I've spent more time with Mike over the last few years than the others because we're
you're
in the same side of the business. We've worked together on a couple of things.
How did you feel being known as probably the craziest of the 4 crazy kids?
Well, that's the part I played, the zany.
And you do
mad
it
cat.
well, as we saw this morning during the beginning of my newscast. I'm going to knock you out. But you do it well. Is that the real George Michael Dolenz?
Yeah, it's difficult to say. It just depends on what mood I'm in.
You're crazy.
Yeah, the characters we played were caricatures of ourselves, or extrapolations, if you will, of who we were. The Micky Dolenz of the Monkees is similar to my acting persona. As a producer-director, of course, it's very, very different.
What do you miss most about being a part of the Monkees? Because you were a phenomenal hit.
Well, it still is a hit, so I don't have much. I don't have much to miss at all. It's incredible. It just goes on and on.
Yeah. What do you think about these new Monkees?
Who?
That's what I figured. These so-called new Monkees.
Well, I feel a bit sorry for those kids that have to do it. I mean, it's going to be a tough act to follow. I mean, not necessarily that I was anything special, but anytime you create that kind of an inertia, it's very difficult to overcome. And it's like if somebody came out and tried to be Dr. Spock again. You know, it's very difficult to overcome that.
The magic is gone. Yeah.
Well, it's just very difficult. You know, like the Lone Ranger or Superman or. You know, Sean Connery will always be James Bond to me. I'm sorry.
You're not alone there.
You know what I mean? It's difficult. It's nobody's fault. It's not that I'm the greatest thing in the world, but by no means. But I feel sorry for those kids that have to try and cope with it.
So, a prediction: do you think they will be as successful?
No idea. No one can predict that. You couldn't predicted the original success. We had no idea. You don't know. If we knew, Sherry, we wouldn't be here. We'd be out there doing it.
Well, see, because a lot of people saw you guys as kind of a takeoff on the Beatles. You were like American Beatles.
I think it was actually it was one of the Beatles, John Lennon, actually, that when asked about the Monkees back in '66, he said, "No, the Monkees aren't like the Beatles at all. They're like the Marx Brothers." And that's true. I think the Monkees actually are much more a takeoff of the Marx Brothers with music than the Beatles.
So is that to say you never really considered yourself a serious musician? Because the music was good. You had some hits.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I considered myself, and do, I suppose, a performer/actor. I don't think I would be so bold as considering to myself a very professional musician in the classic sense of going and doing sessions and being in an orchestra or something like that. I play the drums, I play guitar, and I play piano. I played piano and guitar in my Monkey auditions, and I had my own rock group at the time, and I was lead singer, Mickey and the One-Nighters.
Hey, what a bunch of
hey, baby, we gotta go. But I was cast as a drummer, and I had to learn the drums very quickly, but in all respect, it isn't brain surgery. So
some drummers are going to be mad at that.
No, I mean, the kind of drums that I had to play, that's very simple pop, rock and roll drums.
Okay.
But I certainly could never pretend to be a jazz drummer or to do big band stuff or orchestra
things like
stuff.
that.
No.
Okay. Now, as you said, you have.
But Peter and Mike, let me just finish up on that. Peter and Mike, however, were and are very accomplished musicians. Peter went to Juilliard Conservatory of Music and plays 7 instruments and plays classical, and Mike plays a very, very good guitar.
Okay.
Country western. So they were musicians and are.
Well, let me ask you about something. You said you've been behind the scenes now, and then you went on the tour again, and now you're doing some things. You know, and it's kind of hard not to get caught up into that, oh, I like that attention when you've worked behind the scenes. Maybe you get a little hungry for the in front of the camera again. Anyway, just to show what a big star you are, we have a tape here of the car that you arrived here at the studio in. We have to get a look at this car. I've never seen anything like it.
Boy.
So it's going to come up.
You haven't seen anything like it. How do you think I feel? I've never seen anything like it
now,
either.
see, producers and directors don't drive around in cars like this because they have to watch the money, right? This is the car of a star.
Isn't it amazing?
Good grief.
Look at it. It's like 30, 40 feet long. It's been provided for me by the the promoters of Autorama, where I'm going this weekend, yes, because I'm car crazy, actually.
Are you really?
Oh, yeah, I'm car crazy, and they asked me to come out and hang around with the Monkey Mobile and with all these custom cars out there, and I got to tell you, this is amazing, this car. There's a jacuzzi in the back. There's no water in it right now because it's so cold, but there's a hot tub jacuzzi in the back and like 4 televisions.
My goodness.
Oh, it's amazing. There's a landing pad and a swimming pool in the front. The tennis courts you can't see. They're just behind that telephone.
Long way from the Monkey Mobile.
Yeah, it's great.
Long
Oh,
way.
these custom cars are incredible. I had one of my own, you see. I had a T Ford. It was like with a flathead Buick in it. It was all chrome and metal flake. And I used to go around to some of these shows and show it, but I wasn't very good at showing them because I used to drive it too much.
Yeah, I'll bet.
It used to get thrashed.
Now, just by way of information, you're living in England now.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't picked up an accent. You say you like it better.
I do. I love England.
You said it was more civilized. Yeah.
Yeah, it is in a way. It's been there a long time. Let's face it. You know,
Oh, that's true. They've had a longer time.
We're very
to work.
young over here, and it's exciting, but I do like it over in England.
Okay. Mickey, you were always my #1 monkey.
Aw.
Thanks for coming on this
Bet
morning.
you say that to all the monkeys.
Oh, sure I do. Yeah. We'll be back in a moment to talk about grandparents' rights, so stay right where you are. I have to get you back for that interruption. I wish I could have reached.
Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace.